Oh, I'm live. I'm alive. Okay. Well, hello, fam. I'm in tran- I'm in transition with my hair, so I'm not really sure that I want my hair to be on, but I know that I do want my voice and my message. And perhaps I will go back and make another video. But I just got finished watching the Today Show. They had two segments that struck me. This one is obviously about the Insta fam, where you go online and you use social media and you find somebody that wants to give you her baby. Well, good Lord. I was actually in tears for that. I had to have my dog give me some kisses on that because the whole, oh, and again, my voice tends to get, I'm black, so we tend to talk loud. Ask Tasha, wine with Tasha. My whole view about adoption, I would have to say that I am an angry adoptee. AA, another division of AA, angry adoptee. Now, anger is not negative. Anger is an emotion. What you choose to do with that anger, that, you know, that's your choice. I am going to use mine for good. That's another one of my superpowers. Like Kanye was talking about. Yeah, bipolar, sure as fuck, is a superpower. So, on topic, adoption. I realized what people were thinking or their view about adoption when I mentioned that I'm adopted, and the person made this noise. This noise came out of their body, like the noise that you make when you see a cute kitten, like oh, or no, it's more like oh. And I thought, Jesus fucking Christ, no, rewind. Bear just looked up, but yeah, rewind one more time. I didn't pump the brakes. I had to stand. I stood on the brakes because I thought, okay, this is from Teen Mom. Thank you, Teen Mom. 25 years of Teen Mom. No, that in my day, no. That's not what happened. No, not. No way in hell. And I need to take a breath. And everybody else should take a breath. Tic Tac is right here, right next to me. He's touching me. It's all right. We'll get through it together. Essentially, Tic Tac and I got born the same way. The rich couple who wanted me, and they were rich, of course, because people who can go out and buy babies or pay people for their babies or pay people for their medical care, which I have absolutely no problem. I don't have a problem with you buying a baby if that's what you want to do. Just know that that's what you're doing. So these people, I guess they went through some sort of vetting process, but obviously it wasn't very deep because I went to a quote unquote a family or a fam where the woman is, let's see, psychotic, narcissistic, all of these other sort of things. She was hospitalized when she decided to leave her first husband and run away with my father. This is another issue that people have problems with. So, okay, another brake pump. When I say my mother, I mean the woman who adopted me. So let's see. TWWAM. The woman who TWWAM. Okay, great. So let's see, how do you pronounce that? Swam? Okay. And when I say dad, man who adopted me. So my TMs. Okay. Now, the man, I knew he loved me from day one. He treated me like the princess that I am from day one. In fact, he saved my life several times, which I don't really think he should have. you know, and here I'm kind of going to speed ahead to the end of how I feel. And you can call me an ungrateful bitch. which maybe I am. Maybe I am. My view is, in my case, I can only speak in my case. If whoever didn't want me, they should have aborted me. But I know why they didn't, because they didn't have the money for the abortion. And there were other children. And whatever happened, I can pretty damn well guarantee that she was the clone of me. I am the clone of her. So now, the way that things are now, and the way they were then, if you get some type of I'm loud, I'm sorry. If you get some type of social agency that comes into your apartment or your house and they don't like the way it looks, they got your kids. Now, with what happened on the border, that's a totally different situation, which, oh my God, that's another video. But that's essentially how it is. Once they've got your kids, that's it. And if you don't have the intellectual aptitude to be able to jump through the hoops to get your babies back, and if you don't want them back, then they're gone, you know? And I actually had the same fucking thing happen to my dogs and my house. So literally from birth, I've been screwed 6 ways from Sunday. It's interesting because I'm at minute 616. So that's interesting. Um, I do feel that I'm a fighter. I was born a fighter for whatever reason. I'm still here. And I think I'm like discovering that. I think my role is pretty much going to be like an advocate for the babies because there's always going to be babies out there that listen to this, either turn the speakers down or turn them up. There's going to be babies that don't have people to raise them. Take those goddamn babies, okay? Every single motherfucking day we see where somebody's dropped dead from Oxycontin or some other drug crap. Okay? There's plenty of babies right here. I don't understand. Because in adoption circles, you go on and you say, okay, I'm an adoptee. Then an adoptive mother will get on and she'll say, my baby was stolen. And you're like, okay, what happened? She'll say what happened. There are just so many different layers and levels, and it's a fucking onion. And onions, I don't think they smell, but people say this. I'm gonna, onions smell, and there's many layers to it, and make you cry. So that's what has happened. So for me to feel, I don't know if it's good. For me to feel authentic and be authentic, I have to say that I was abandoned at birth because I was. The rich couple that went to see me, somehow they went to this agency. They were, shown in a room. There was me and a boy in separate bassinets in a room. That was it for the day. We were the two choices. So it's either you want an apple or an orange. They decided, they already had an orange at home. So they got an apple. They picked me up and took me. And that's it. I didn't ask if the other little boy was black. But then later, they would get letters from this agency and they'd say, you want another one? Want another one? And I was like, yeah, yeah. God, I wish they would have. I wish they would have. Because pretty much things went to hell. And and even though, okay, things start out great, rich, two rich parents. One of my earliest memories is of having a maid, if you can believe it, a little black girl, and we had a maid. And she was sweet. She was lovely, lovely, lovely. Loved me, loved the family. Although she called me by her niece's name, which I couldn't stand. And then my brother, when I say brother, I mean the son of the man and the woman who adopted me. They had a biological child, and he was 7 years older, and he terrorized me my entire life. Now, he loved me, yes, as he would bring me boxes out of the trash, and I'd play in them, and, I was just the apple of his eye. But he also tormented me to death. And people can say, well, little brothers, and they do that. Well, there was also like a certain sexual aspect to it that, like, as I say, there's a 7-year age difference. So, when you've got like a 14, 15-year-old, it just wasn't good. Nothing physical that I remember, but stuff wasn't good. And I would plead and beg. I would tell them, when you're gone, because they would go to there would be parties, which is fine. I'm all for it, fine. But I would say, can't we have a babysitter because he is terrorizing me. So anyway, there were many good things and many bad things. And to be actually to just be honest, I'm glad I grew up the way I did, because I don't know what would have happened if I would have had parents who actually gave a fuck, that like m- worried about my grades or like, made me do things because I pretty much did whatever the fuck I wanted, which I was good. I am good. So it was like, whatever I wanted. I would show them my grades, not that they knew when they came out because they had their own issues, Um, mommy had shopping and nails and hair all the time. And I think that's where I get my fashion sense from. I was like, oh, 7. And so she'd take me to the mall with her. We'd go to the hairdresser. Remember, I had a Mickey Mouse watch. So, a certain time I could just, I got up, and I just wandered the whole mall. Yeah, 7 years old, 7, 8 years old. Wander the whole mall. And I'd pick something that I wanted, and then I got it, you know. One time I got a blow up pool, and it was too cold out, but I wanted to swim. I didn't throw a fit, I just wanted to. And so mommy boiled water on the oven and put it outside in the pool, and I got to swim for a little bit. Now, like I say, I got a lot. I mean, like physically, toys. We didn't, I didn't, like, we didn't really have like name brand crap. It's like, okay, you think of something. Let's say I had like Holly Hobby stickers. Kids now, or adults now, they're not going to believe it. What it was a piece of plastic, right? And then another piece of plastic. So you'd stick like plastic on plastic, and it's like paper dolls, except they were plastic dolls, Holly Hobby, and then other kind of crap, So I wasn't like, I gotta have this new shit, plastic shit that every kid has to have now. That I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I couldn't do it. I would not do it. I'd say, you've got an allowance. If you want that bullshit, you can save up your own money and buy it. I'm not buying it. No way, no how. My friend, it's kind of funny. We're along a similar age. She's a little older. She's telling me her son, he's got some really he's born with some really like strong behavioral problems. So he didn't get something or he wanted something. So he took his arm and just took it all along the shelf and just took the stuff out. And she said she yanked him up by the arm and took him out to the car. I'm not sure I could like hold it together that long. I don't know. I feel like I can see both issues, maybe even 3 issues. Whereas for me, I thought I was perfect. I was not perfect. But I would say about myself, I was mute for like the first 40 years of my life. I was mute. Like I was pleasant. I smiled and I'd say hi, or people would say, "How are you?" And I'd say, "Fine." And that's it. I didn't say anything else. I wasn't up in people's face and this and that. So that was me. And my parents in those times, parents could go to parties and you could like, just get drunk, and your kids are like, they'd be in the room, you just throw the coats on them on the bed, just say, sit here, or whatever. Somebody else that was cute online, they typed, probably in YouTube, that their parents would, go drive to the party and they had like a mattress in the back seat. And so the kids would like sleep on the mattress and the parents would like check on them every now and then. I'm like, that's fine. We should go back to those days. Parents, do what you want with your kids. They're your kids. So I kind of strayed off the adoption thing. But the bottom line is, I don't, what a lot of the birth mothers said years ago is that they were pressured into giving their children up. They did not want to. They did not want to. So that's a whole other thing of apples, rotten apples. So I mean, if people are happy with the way things are, fine. But it's hard for me because I know that I was kind of like thrown away. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was not like there was no little, perky bitch with blonde hair and blue eyes flipping through a book saying, "Yeah, yeah, you got a nice big house, 7 bathrooms, eight bedrooms, yeah, with a nice big pool. I want my baby to go here." There was a girl on the news, the show. No, she was perky, you know, edgy, and she had picked the gay couple, male couple, to give her baby to a gift. Newsflash: babies aren't gifts. Now, in that case, okay, fine. Everybody's happy. Be happy, but be prepared. That baby might not be too happy. He might one day look at everything and say, "Huh, mommy, so why was it that you couldn't keep me? Because you had cable, you had internet, you had clothes, you had money for tattoos. Why was it that I was too much? Maybe or maybe not." At this point, I do think that I was put here for a reason, to stir shit up and to be an advocate. Number one, an advocate for myself and other people and the downtrodden. Because I've got nothing to lose, absolutely nothing. I don't care. I don't have a boss I've got to report to. It's just me. So I've rambled, and I'm definitely going to make more videos about adoption, but I just I I'd like for people to know the bottom line. They're not all the same. It's not all the same. And I understand that not everybody wants, a baby who, comes from a social service agency. I mean, actually, to be honest, I'm looking into the whole process myself, or fostering. Here's another aspect of it, the fostering. I worked with someone and they said that their neighbor fostered, and she had 2 little girls. And the woman said, I could, and then, one day they were gone and I couldn't see, giving them up. Hello? She's not giving them up. They're going back to their mother where they belong. She temporarily, for whatever reason, somebody saw that she needed help. And so she got that help, and now she's got her children back. Now that's honorable. That's brave. That's the way to do it. That's the way to be loving. That's the whole fucking American way of saying, you got this, I want this, I'm going to take it. If you were really a loving parent or person or human being, you would help that young woman to keep her own fucking baby if she wanted to. So she didn't feel like she had to give it to somebody else or that she had to have an abortion. I know a lot of people. I know a girl, a friend in school. She got her period very, very, very early at like 10. And what her mother told her was, quote unquote, "I ain't paying for no babies." Now, this woman was an executive, her job. So it's it's not like she didn't have any money or resources to help her child, you know. But that's what you tell a girl when she has her first period, so that her in her brain, she's thinking, okay, well, I can't count on my family. I can't count on you, mommy, to help me. So if I get pregnant, I'm having an abortion because I don't believe in adoption. People get screwed up in the head so much, and it's so sad. And I don't want people to get screwed. I guess all I can do is say my view. I'm not saying that everybody has to do it this way, but I do know, I know this, that my view is never, ever, 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 ever thought of or considered, because I know it hurts. And I know people find it hurtful. And I know people tell me that. People say all the time online, and a few in my face, "You could have been aborted." Well, you know what? I wish I would have been. I wish I would have been. I do. It's pointless. For me, personally, I mean, I'm halfway through my life. It's half over. I mean, I guess one way to like flip it would be, okay, I've got another half to go. But it's just I don't understand. I don't. I really don't. And maybe it's from my community and from what I've seen. When somebody needs help, you don't take from them what is their most precious possession and keep it for your own. You may take it in and help them, you know. I didn't really in my immediate family, I didn't well, actually, now that I'm remembering shit, that did happen to me. I did, which is absolutely insane. There's a neighbor up the road, and at age, it's hard for me to remember like numbers. I still have to say it was like 8, 7. So I didn't live with either of my parents. I went up the road to live with this couple, and that's the first time I ever lived with a black family, and I am black. An entire, and I would just, it was very interesting. I learned how to cook there because I remember I was showing my mother, like, I was picking macaroni and cheese, and she was saying, what was the box type? And she was saying that she never uses that. And I was thinking, well, where in the fuck did I learn how to make it from then? And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, there, I made it there. And I remember the woman was so sweet. And, we take baths together, me and the little girl. That's a big thing. I'm in kind of I'm in a southern state, sort of, not totally south, but southern, like southern enough to like see tobacco. So maybe it's a southern thing where like little girls, when they have sleepovers, we all like take baths together and crap like that. Now we'd probably all be labeled like sexual predators or whatever. But yeah, so the woman would say, I always wanted another daughter. And that woman is in bad health now. I do want to talk to them. I really do. I want to like thank them for taking me in and like showing me what a family is. And it's really sad. Like I want to cry, but I don't know if I'm gonna cry over that. It was really sweet. And I never after I went wherever the fuck it was that I went, um, I didn't really talk to them. It's a small enough town, so I knew them and saw them, but it's just really weird. Life is really weird. Actually, though, as I say, I think it's all been a blessing because really, I know how to turn it around, or I think I do. I know how to maybe cha-ching. So I need to like get writing and filming and, things like that and kind of use whatever little superpowers I have to make my life better. But the whole adoption thing, I just encourage people to think, do a lot of research, think about what you want. And money isn't everything, you know. I don't know that these people, I'm not assuming, I am not assuming that they're going to be bad parents. This gay couple on the Today Show, I'm not saying that you're going to be bad parents, but what I feel that people are buying children. I was just looking online. I got an email. I'm in love with Denali's, the car. And so I'm looking and I'm like, oh, wow, 40,000. Gee, the price has gone down. So I keep scrolling down and I see, oh, under 10,000. Well, maybe that'll work. And I feel like that's what people are doing with children. And I know there are like plenty of different factors and things involved. And that's sort of why I'm looking into this infertility stuff because I'm not even sure myself that I'd be able to fucking pass any sort of, um, you know, inspection thing that they're going to do as far as a fostering. I know you've got to have like a bedroom for each child. That's what I heard in the hot tub where I go to. It's actually a wellness center where I go. So yeah, there's a guy was talking about a woman and she loves children. She loves them. But she also gets big checks and she also gets subsidized to live in these big houses so that she has rooms for each kid. So, I don't know. There's just many aspects and I would say probably number 1, like investigate your heart and always keep the child's highest and best interest in your mind because it's not only you, it's that it should be about the child. That's what I don't understand. I don't ever feel like people who adopt are thinking about a child. In my view, I always thought or assumed that adoption was about providing a loving home for a child who didn't have one. I don't know where in the fuck I heard that, but it seems like now adoption is about, I want a little mini me to dress up. I want to give my name to somebody. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be alone. It's just very strange. And to the women, picking out these lovely rich couples, you know what? Tomorrow they can have a fight and get divorced, and your little Johnny or Terry, they're going to wind up on welfare because daddy kicks mommy out and mommy doesn't have a job and no skills. So what's she going to do? It's very complicated, and I've been going on about a half an hour, so I don't know. I guess it's good I get it out, but I can't. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying what my view is, what my view has been. Um, it's weird. I think what I another option, a more honest option for the children who are not white, are maybe black, are maybe not so cute, that maybe people don't want to have. I'm thinking of a name, instead of calling it an agency or social service, an academy. Because isn't that what Oprah did? She had an academy for girls. So we'll have an academy for boys and girls, and they'll learn all the wonderful things, like how when they're going to visit a rich person, they take a small bottle of jam, or they make their own, You take cheese. You take cheese and crackers when you go visit rich people because that's what you do. Americans, we do not need to bow to the queen because we are not her subject. It's you may if you like. I always thought that I would curtsy, but now I think I will simply just, tilt the head, a tilt of the head. But I love curtsying. I love the whole structure and decorum, and we have that here in the United States. We don't think we do, but we do. It's financial. It's all financial. I was talking to a lady in the pool, and she didn't understand. Let's see, what was it that she didn't understand? Oh, well, for one, about swimming. Of course, she's a white lady from the South, but with swimming, um, and she was saying, "Oh, yeah, lots of blacks can't swim." Well, yeah, yeah. We got on that subject. You know, I think the way we got on it was that on that day, there were like 6 black people in the pool, which never, ever, 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 I have never, including me, I have never seen that many black folk in the pool. And then I think she may have like thrown out the, well, blacks can't swim. So then I threw out, well, yeah, that's when my mommy, and remember, I say mommy, the adoptive mommy, the white one, she didn't know how to swim. So immediately, my brother and I were in lessons, you know, and I remember that cold water in the morning and my swimming suits. This brings me to Megan Kelly. But yeah, so I learned how to swim. And then thereafter, on every business trip we went to, they would say, and there's a pool, and my brother and I would like lose our shit. There's a pool in Cincinnati where we were indoors in the hotel, and then what mommy didn't know, there was a pool outside too. Well, she knew there was an outside pool. She did not know they were connected via an underwater sort of, whatever. You go through the whatever. So I went down and I went there and I got out. And so my mom was there. And then I knock on the glass and she's surprised because she didn't know. And I have to say another thing for her, mommy dearest. It was so brave of her to allow me to take her on a canoeing trip when she did not know how to swim. They warned us too because it had rained a lot. The water was up, and they said, only professionals, experienced. We're like, we got this. So, they get a little canoe, which they put it on a bus, they drive it, whatever. She gets it. She starts to get in it backwards. I'm like, turn around, turn around. You know, so okay. And she's wearing this bright, like the brightest fucking white shirt I've ever seen in my life. You don't wear white, and of course it's like a dress shirt. It's a summer shirt, but it's not a t-shirt. I mean, my mother never wore a t-shirt in her life. You know, it's some shirt she got from some mall somewhere that probably cost $80. And of course she has her cigarettes and her full makeup, and so anyway, I'm good. I steer because I do. She didn't touch the paddle once, which is fine because I can do it. But as we're like at times when we're kind of drifting, and I look down and I see a little cigarette butt kind of doing a little dance under the water with tipped with red lipstick, and I thought, God, she's throwing her cigarette butts in the river. But we made it. We survived. And I throw that in that it's not lighthearted because the man they sent me to, the babysitter, they sent us to like a family. He taught me how to tie my shoes. He did not survive a canoe ride. I guess somehow his life jacket and he was black, flew off and he drowned, and that's hard to believe. Hard to believe. There were rumors too. There were rumors. And oh my God, I'm really going far afield, but enjoy. Actually, this man's son, he did kill people. He killed a guy. My daddy and I were at home and we're like, there's all these helicopters go. We're like, what the hell? All these helicopters. So then, like one street over, we find out, we know everybody knows everybody. So he got killed. But then the police come to our house later because my dad had sold him a car. It was my car, actually, but it wasn't the same car that they needed, like we're doing like a looking for. That makes sense. So it was just really bizarre. Things are bizarre. Things are bizarre. So thank you for allowing me to do my verbal diarrhea. Do whatever the hell you want. Just realize that there's going to be consequences. There's going to be consequences. I really need to bone up on my whole adoption thing. What we don't see, or what a lot of people don't see, are those quote unquote reunions where, you've got the sweet little adoptee. I know we aren't all always, but knocking on a woman's door, her mother, the woman whose vagina she came out of, and the woman is looking through the window, closes the windows, won't even open it. I say, if you're big enough and bad enough to have a baby and give it to somebody else, at one time in your life, it would be nice of you to meet with that material that came out of your vagina and tell them why you didn't want him or what the fuck happened once in your life. That'd be nice. The people that wrote the obituary, do people remember? Not too long ago, maybe a month or two, they wrote an obituary about their mother, about how she left them, she went with another man. They told the truth. And eventually, it went online, and then whoever pulled the obituary, those people have absolutely every right to their history to tell it as they see fit because everybody else does. That's what happened in my quote unquote family. I was 7 years younger than, whatever. And I always had a hand over my mouth. I wasn't allowed to speak, so I didn't. And I am allowed to speak now. I've allowed myself to speak. And sometimes I feel like I speak too much, but whatever. Realize when you get your little baby, they're going to want to please you and they're going to want to do the things that you want them to do. I feel a lot of adoptees, they don't feel, they cannot tell their adoptive mommy or daddy, hey, I want to find out whose vagina I came from and who donated the sperm. I want to know that. Now, to tie it in with the sweet little babies from Mexico, these people who went and bought me at the social service agency, they're my parents. There's no DNA, but they're my parents. So, are there any little children among this group who they came with their mommy and daddy, but they don't have matching DNA? So, is that a problem? Is that why these kids aren't going back with their parents? You know, they could have a grandma, an uncle, an aunt that is their parent in their eyes, but I don't know. It's just all a mess, and I really hope that um, karma prevails as far as the people who were responsible for seeing that these little babies were taken from their parents and their families. I hope that karma comes back and does what karma does. So, thanks for listening if you did. If you didn't, I don't really care.